high-performing roles, do you think that people miss out on opportunities?
So I think that the first thing is our inability to appreciate our value. I think because of the way the world is set up, right, and the way our own generation have watched our parents make money, it's always been within the context of I am creating value for somebody. I'm working for somebody. In fact, our parents didn't say it as they are creating value. The communication was you have a job, and therefore the job is doing you a favor of providing a means for you to make money. We haven't been schooled in the fact that we come factory fitted with value from when we are small. And what school and life is meant to do is to unlock that value.
You give us an example, and you can use an arbitrary amount of maybe general headers that an employee should consider when you're budgeting. What, like, say you earn a certain figure, are you able to plan with that? Because some people hear budgeting, planning your money, tracking your expenses, and the first thing they are thinking in their head is that's for people that are doing well. That's for people that are earning a lot. But I'm not earning a lot, and I'm just trying to survive. If the person is in Nigeria, things are really, great right now. I'm just trying to wade through the water, and then you're telling me to budget. Why do that? How do I plan with the little that I have?
So, are you saying that once we start documenting this, we will be better? Once we start documenting how much we spend on a regular, we will get better with managing our income?
Oh, 100%. Why do we have stories that our parents tell us and pass down from generation to generation? For those of us who are people of faith as Christians, why is the Bible written down? It's for accountability, for us to see what has happened. So if we don't document, then we can't tell the story of what we use our money to do.
Welcome to Skillfully Spoken, your go-to destination for insights on talent management, offshoring, and outsourcing. Today we are joined by Nneka Jethro Irobe. She's a dynamic coach and a leader. She's helped professionals over the years take control of their careers by mastering the art of managing up. From turning manager relationships into career leverage, she's been able to help people to unlock hidden income opportunities, right? Nneka delivers practical strategies that helps employees move from simply collecting a paycheck to managing real power plays at work. Whether you're aiming for a raise, more fulfillment, better leadership dynamics, or even how to maximize your income, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into how employees can grow their income and take more control of their financial futures without necessarily changing jobs. I'm your host again. My name is Udoka Okonta, and I'm joined here by Uchechi Ogbonna. We will be having this discussion with Nneka. Nneka, you're welcome.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Uchechi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Thank you.
You're all welcome. So for this session, what we'll be looking at is how to maximize our incomes, how to take control of our financial future. And starting from here, Nneka, how did you come to specialize in this area?
Okay.
Was it a defining moment? Or it was a personal experience that just shaped your approach?
Honestly, it's two different things. So in 2019, 2020, just before the lockdown, I started teaching people how to be valuable at work, how to be valued at work, how to communicate their value, right? So the story on how I got into doing that is a different long story. I had issues in the office. I was reported for not being a good boss. And then people were like, my senior colleagues and mentors were like, oh, engage with your team. What's going on there? The you we know is not the you they are discussing. So what's going on? And then I engaged my team, and it became clear that people just thought leadership was partial to me, that I would ask for what I wanted and I would get it. Before that time, before the lockdown and anything hybrid in Nigeria, I'd already been working hybrid for about 2 years plus, right? Because I live very far from the office, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to resign, or I want to become contract staff. My bosses were like, don't go anywhere. What do you want? Any day they want to come in, just call us and say you're not coming. It's fine. We agree. We are okay. So I was doing
adding value.
Yes, exactly. So I thought, if you ask now, I didn't know that people were angry about it. Do you get? I just thought, okay, I was doing good work. I asked, I got it, and I moved on. But so that's where I started teaching people that I just ask. Oh, it's not like there's anything else. Like hands up. Nothing else. Just asked. Thank God I was already married. I'm already knew my husband. You know, some people were saying funny things and all. So from there, I started teaching people how to add value, how to communicate their value, how to understand that you are adding value. Like employment is a two-way street. It's not just your company taking advantage, you know, and getting benefit from you and you're just getting salary. That no, there's a whole lot more than salary from employment, right? Then fast forward to one day in 2022, I believe. I was in my sister-in-law's house. And you know how you get good lighting. You know, they're like, this light is here, it's good. Let me just take a picture and do a post on Instagram. And I put up a post and I said, if I get 10 comments, I will share my salary budgeting template. Honestly, I didn't mean it.
I remember that. I remember that video.
I did not mean it. I didn't mean it at all. I was just looking for what to say. I saw a good, you know how you have taken pictures in your house in different direction, in the car, in the office. I said, this is a new location. Let me just, you know, Instagram now. I didn't mean it. In how many minutes I got comments? Yes, share. I said, let's just they whine me, I beg. I moved on. I started getting DMs. Coach, now I'm waiting now. Share. I said, everybody has their own template. Now why are you worrying me? Well, the pressure continued for weeks. Then I sat down, took my template, said it a bit, tried to make it, you know, generally a little bit, and then shared. In 1 hour, over 100 downloads. And I said, wait, hold on. There's something here. Then people started asking me questions about money matters. I was like, so people know that they used to budget for their salary. People spend anyhow. I didn't know. That's honestly how I came into this matter of teaching people, because I had been doing my own salary, my family's money for years. I'd seen my father do the same thing. My father accounted for money. Back then, my father would go to the bank. Of course, we didn't have internet banking, all those things. He would withdraw cash. He would sit down and arrange it properly. Money for what? Money for this. So I thought everybody knew that money needed to be arranged and planned. I had no clue. It's what I saw. I know how they say your mother's soup is the sweetest because that's when you want to eat it. I thought everybody was doing money like that. It's been shocking that that's one of the top things I've been invited to speak about over and over again. This question of managing money and growing money. I didn't know.
Wow, amazing.
So it's evolved from there was a gap. You know, you just were delivering value and you never knew it was really value. It was just you and everybody just there is something in this world that we need to draw from, and that's how we've gotten to where you are right now. So this is how many years? How many years have you been doing this now?
So I have been teaching people to be happy at work since 2020, but the money on started in end of 2022. So going 2.5 years-ish now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So from here, I'll ask, do you think a lot of people leave money on the table? Even in high-performing roles, do you think that people miss out on opportunities there?
So I think that the first thing is our inability to appreciate our value.
Okay.
I think because of the way the world is set up, right, and the way our own generation have watched our parents make money, it's always been within the context of I am creating value for somebody. I'm working for somebody. In fact, our parents didn't say it as they are creating value. The communication was you have a job, and therefore the job is doing you a favor of providing a means for you to make money. We haven't been schooled in the fact that we come factory fitted with value from when we are small. And what school and life is meant to do is to unlock that value. What our parenting is meant to do is supposed to open our eyes to the value that we already came with. I'll tell you this, I was speaking to some youth, children between 16 and 20 or so, of a big redeem province at the redemption camp 3-4 weeks ago. And I asked a question at the beginning of my session. I said, is it easy to make money? Guess what? They said no. I said, so who is easy to make money for? They said, oh, you are the 419, they are the people that can make money easily. And I froze. And I said, we have our work cut out for ourselves. If the young children coming up believe that making money is not easy and the way to make money is to do 419, then there's a problem. We have work to do.
It's not easy.
I had to tell them that. I had to tell them that it's easy. So you see, there's a warped thinking around how money comes. And that's the problem. It follows us all through our careers, where we don't realize how much value we're bringing to the table. I suffer from it as well. It took a colleague saying to me, Neka, go and write down how much money you have brought in and how much you have written to profit for me. She used to tease me. She would say, if I don't buy G-class, I used to laugh and say, I didn't understand what she was saying. But guess what? This is someone that came from, if I mention the name, you know the family. It's a big family in Nigeria. She came from that. So she kept on telling me, so she's working up because she needed to work, but she understood how money works. She would say, Neka, go and write down. So one day she showed me her, and I was wondering, so she writes down how much she's making. My people, when I went to sit down and I wrote down, that was when I realized I had tripled the business I was leading in a 3-year period. When talking about recession, I had tripled the business. I didn't know. I was just working and working. And you're showing up every day, you're working. I didn't realize how much. For context, I had brought in as much as 9 figures in direct profits. I'm not saying revenue. I'm saying direct written to profit. And I was not aware because my definition of work was show up, do the work, get your salary. Do you understand? So many of us are showing up at work from that mindset that we are grateful for the job. And we should be grateful. I preach appreciation. My kids know every day we say, what are you thankful for? So I preach appreciation, but I'm saying the awareness that what commands money is value. And understanding how you unlock that value chain is what makes many of us who are high performing to shortchange ourselves. We are not even aware. We're not even seeing the lights. We don't even know what we carry. We don't know what's in it for. We don't even know what we are generating. We're not even aware. And so only the few who are aware are able to have those high-powered negotiation conversations that say, hey, if you don't bring this to the table because of what I'm generating, then I'm out. Once you see it, then you can ask for it.
So what I hear you saying so much is about what value are you creating? 2 days ago, I saw someone had posted it on LinkedIn, a prominent person had posted something about you asking how much money am I bringing to my organization, whether you're in HR, whether you're in operations, because if you understand how much you are bringing, you can actually look back and say, yes, I'm adding value, right? And now I hear you saying exactly same thing. So I learned 3 things. I learned this. So they said there are those who know their job, and there's another set of people who their bosses know that they know their job. Then they say third, where your boss knows that you know that you know your job. At that point, there is clear value that even if I'm told, you know what, we don't need your services again here today, you're able to stand out and say, no problem. But while I've been here, I've created this value. I can step out and create value, right? And it also, let's just go back. Let's rewind back. How can we maximize our income while working? We are creating value.
Yes.
XYZ. How can I maximize my income?
I like this question. How can I maximize what I'm taking home? It's such an important question, and I think that is a question that every working adult needs to answer, whether you are an employee or you are a business person. There is something to be said about how you use money, how you respond to money. First of all, do you even use money, or is money using you? That's where we need to start from. Because many of us don't understand that money is like that dog that wants to go on a walk and brings the leash to you and is just running on its own. You are trying to catch up. Money is currency. It's called currency. We all know it's called currencies. That's not news to us. The question is, when we say money is called currency, what does that really mean to you? Are you paying attention to the implication of something being called currency? Are you paying attention to what money is doing to you? And see, this is a work in progress. So even till this morning, I was praying and God was speaking to me about, how I'm looking at money in certain areas, And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm hearing. So the fact is, first of all, before we talk about your money taking you home, because everybody wants more. So many of us are in that headspace where we feel like we are the worst served. Our salaries are the least in the pack. And you know that the work I've done for the last 16 plus years has been about salaries. I've met people, the biggest companies you can think of in Nigeria. I've worked with them. I have never been to a board meeting where somebody says they should reduce their salary. It doesn't matter how many zeros are there. Yeah. Call the biggest companies you can think of in Nigeria. I have been in their board meetings discussing, presenting money issues, right? So everybody wants more. So let's deal with it. The next thing I'd like to say is that truths can coexist. The desire for more can safely and healthily coexist with the desire to enjoy what you have. The fact that you want more does not mean you can't enjoy what you have today. Many of us are in that headspace where it looks as if, because I want more, what I have today is useless. What I have today is not doing anything for me. What I have today is rubbish. They are paying me peanuts. Well, we can say you should be able to earn more. All of them can discuss that separately. But with what you have today, how are you making the most of it? When I run polls from time to time, one of the results I saw was the fact that 2 in 3 employees cannot account by the middle of the month. They can't account for how they use last month's salary. Half of employees can't account for how they use the last year's salary. And the problem with that, my people, everyone listening, is that you end up working for 5-10 years and you are questioning your life essence, because when we work, it's our life we are giving out. You are questioning your life essence because you can't look back and say, this is what I have used my salary to do. And once you're not able to lock that, you hate the job, you hate the employer, you hate the years, you hate the concept of being employed. Whereas employment is meant to be a ladder to your dreams, not a lead on your destiny. So if you don't lock in on how you use money, and money is the most amplified benefit of employment, there are many more. I, for one, in the last 16 and a half years, have met amazing human beings that have opened doors for me on many other platforms, right? Many, many other platforms. They're giving me access at great levels, right? Money, let's go back to money, is the most amplified benefit of employment. If you're not intentional of how you use it, there's problem. The most powerful tool you can use to be intentional with making your take home make sense is to budget. That's your tool. Dave Ramsey says that a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Many of us are in that second group. Every month by the 10th, 15th, 20th, we are wondering where did last month's salary go to? We can't account for it. The inability to account for something is a painful thing. Why do people that write books fulfill? Because they feel like there is something tangible for their time and their years. Why do parents feel fulfilled looking at their children? Because they look at something or someone that they've poured themselves and their time into and that is doing well. So every one of us, the way we use our time, we want to be able to look back and say, this thing has accounted for something for me. And if you're not able to do that, there's a problem. So if you want to be able to do that with your salary today, you must commit to a lifestyle of budgeting, naming your salary before it enters your account and tracking your expenses consistently. Naming your salary before it enters your account and tracking your expenses consistently. And it's a personalized thing. It's customized. Your budget customized for you, your own realities, your own dreams, and where you are going to in life.
Okay. You just said something that triggered a question in my head, Neka. We all want to earn more, we all want to make more money, and we always feel like until we're making more, we can't really live the life that probably we want to live, right? Can you give us an example? And you can use an arbitrary amount of maybe general headers that an employee should consider when you're budgeting. What, like, say you earn a certain figure, are you able to plan with that? Because some people hear budgeting, planning your money, tracking your expenses, and the first thing they are thinking in their head is that's for people that are doing well. That's for people that are earning a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not earning a lot, and I'm just trying to survive. If the person is in Nigeria, things are really, great right now. I'm just trying to wade through the water, and then you're telling me to budget. Why do that? How do I plan with the little that I have? I believe I can budget when I have big money, but now I'm earning this little. How can I make this work?
I have the question, and I was it Echo Bank or which of the banks I went to speak, and someone was telling me, with this money that I'm earning, nothing. And when people say this, the first thing I ask them, for those of us who are in Nigeria, I don't know if this obtains in other African countries, but we have people that we call Malam, the streets corner shop, and we have street corner shops everywhere in the world. Yeah. You see the man and his wife, with his 3, 4, 5 children, or maybe 2 wives. His face is the perfect image of contentment. He is earning 10 naira on every item you purchase. I don't know how much is 10 naira in USD or even in pound sterling. We can contextualize that. But he's the face of contentment. So the first thing I like to do in answering this question is to say that there are people who are living on way less than what you have, and they're making it work for themselves and their families. They have bills, and they're making it work. So I say to people, separate your desire for more from making the most of what you're earning today. Today's income is tomorrow's insurance. Today's income is tomorrow's insurance, right? So why wouldn't we be complaining and saying we want to earn more and it's all good, we deserve more, everybody deserves to earn more. Take it, I've told you, free yourself. You deserve to earn more. You are worth more than that. I'm with you. But while you're earning what you're earning, how are you making the most of it? I say that to also say that my very first salary was 70,000. And when I collected the salary, I would say how much is my tithe, how much was for my transportation, how much was for lunch every day because I was going to work, and then how much would I be contributing to the house. So when we say budget, we're not necessarily saying start saving big money. First saying spread the money intentionally. Don't use the money without a plan. That's where we're even starting from. Because the truth of the matter is sometimes when I first started working, for example, my dad was very ill, my mom was a teacher, I had 3 younger ones in school. My sister had just left the country to go and do her master's, barely managing to make ends meet for herself. I have 2 younger brothers in school. So really, at that point in time, maybe savings was not a priority for me. Valid. Okay, we have heard. So what do we do? The first thing about budgeting, the first thing, let me clear anybody, is to say spend with intention. Let's even start from there. Be aware of where your money is going to. Let's start from that before we then talk about, oh, the 50, 20, 10 or 30, 10 principle, save this amount or save from 5% or save 1%. Let's even start with you spending with intention. Are you spending with intention thinking about the future? Are you spending with intention thinking about, will I be happy about this expense in the next 5 years? Will I look back and say, yes, I did well with my money? Can we start from there? I think that's so important in this conversation. Spending with intention. Spending with intention to say, I tell people when I coach, I tell them something. Let your salary age like fine wine. You earned an amount in 2021. Is there anything, any trace of it left following you through to 2024, 2025? Is there anything that's followed you from that 2021 all the way to 2025, right? Is there anything? We have to answer that question. So spend with intention first before we start talking about how much you should save, and all that. And I have a template that helps people to do that.
So I spend with a plan. I know where I want to spend my money on. But because we are not documenting it, sometimes we find out that, wow, my money is not as much as I expected it to be. Because I've planned, okay, I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3. There's clarity, deliberate, right? But when the money comes and I'm spending it, I'm finding out there's a shortfall, right? And so it makes sense, like from what you're saying, documenting it and budgeting it. So are you saying that once we start documenting this, we will be better? Once we start documenting how much we spend on a regular, we would get better with managing our income?
Oh, 100%. Why do we have stories that our parents tell us and pass down from generation to generation? For those of us who are people of faith as Christians, why is the Bible written down? It's for accountability, for us to see what has happened. So if we don't document, then we can't tell the story of what we use our money to do. And documentation is an eye-opener. One of the things I do when I coach people, even when I go to speak, and anyone on this call, you can do it. Go and download your last 3 months account statement. You'll be shocked. 6 months, you'll be shocked at how you use money. Whenever I coach people and I ask them to do that, if I remember one particular church I went to speak about money, and after speaking, I asked them, will you download your account statement? Silence. Nobody answered. The same people I was talking to that were answering me before. I turned to their pastor, say, sir, there's challenge. I say, guys, it's very important. Will you download? People are afraid of doing that because we know what we've used money to do. We know we've not done the right thing with money. Okay. So yes, once you start documenting, why do we not tell the president or tell the minister of finance, okay, you have explained to us on TV, it's fine. A document is circulated. Why do companies not say, okay, CEO has planned the budget, we trust him that he will do what he said he would do. After, at the end of the year, you come and give us an account. No, it's documented, it's circulated, so everybody's aware of what we say we have planned to do. Do you understand? So we cannot say we are doing our budgets effectively if we don't write. Remember, they say that the shortest pencil is more reliable than the sharpest memory. It's one of the myths that people have. Oh, I don't know how much is the money now. It's not just 150K. Why am I bothering myself to write it down? Please write it down. Then you can see opportunities to redistribute if you need to. But please write it down.
Wow. Okay. What we have said, if I get what you're saying now, is that let's treat ourselves as a company. Treat your own money like a business, right? Because
100%.
once you can tell yourself, oh, my name is Udoka. So Udoka, you have earned income for this month. Udoka Limited. How have you spent your money? What's the plan for spending for next month? What's the next plan for spending for the next 6 months, right? Even if I'm 50,000, right? And I know that my money might not be enough. You know what? Document it. Let there be a plan on how we want to spend it.
That's it. Right? Treat your money like your company treats money. Accounting for every amount, documenting every amount. If your company comes and says, sorry, today is 20th, you are supposed to have paid you, but we not track how much we have. By the time I went to the bank this morning to check, the money was not complete. Sorry. Will you find it funny? Will you not insult them and say, what kind of nonsense that, it's the same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Same thing you're doing with your money.
So for those who are just joining us, Skillfully Spoken, we are having this session with Nneka Jethro Irobe. She's a coach. I like to call her a money coach, right? She teaches on how to maximize your income. She's been doing this for a lot of years, and she's giving a lot of people direction. You need to see the testimonies, how people will tell you that they've now begun to track and understand how they spend their monies, and there's a huge change in their in how they value their income. So we are having her here on the show, and she's talking with us about why this matters, right? How you can take control of your financial future without necessarily changing jobs. Are there creative ways in which we can increase our income, right, while working on that our job, while we are doing that particular job that we are trying
100%.
to?
I think that one of the things we don't realize is that a job provides you an opportunity to earn while learning.
Okay.
Many of us are not aware or don't maximize the opportunity to learn. And the greatest investment you can make is the investment in who you are becoming, which is why I tell people that your personal development is your personal responsibility.
Okay.
Right. So the company will invest in you to send you for training that they feel aligns with where they want you to be. But you have got to take ownership for your own growth as a person. And so I'd say to you that the first thing I would say is to invest in who you are becoming as an individual. If you want to be able to make the most and make the most money from your salary, use part of that to grow who you are. Use part of your salary to grow who you are. So that's number one. The second thing that flows from that in today's world is that you're able to teach others what you know. If you invest in yourself, you're able to teach others what you know. And the teaching usually would start from your house, in quotes, your unit, your team. Be invested in people's growth. Be intentional with teaching them what you know and helping them to grow. Once you start doing that, then you can take it outside, like we say. Start teaching people outside. And that's what it simply means to build a personal brand. To start teaching people what you know outside. That's what it means. Teach people what you know. What do you know? What works for you? What excites you? What do you like about your job? In fact, even just start sharing. What I tell people when they want to start is share 3 lessons that you've learned in this week. This week, my top 3 lessons. Start from there. But be intentional about building that presence outside. Do you understand? So if you want to increase your income and your earning potential, first of all, it is to invest in yourself. Now, when you invest in yourself, what it does internally in your company is that it positions you as being a serious person, as someone who is minded about growth. And that then begins to position you for leadership and for promotion, which gives you money. When you begin to teach people what you know outside, it further cements to those internally that this person is sharp. Oh, he knows what he's doing. Oh, she knows what she's doing. They get intentional. And then it signals to those outside as well that this is somebody who we can also hire if we want to give a different opportunity. This is someone that we can bring in for speaking engagements. This is someone that we can bring in for trading opportunities, right? I know somebody who said to me that, no, who put a post up. She said she recommended somebody for a role, and the people were excited because she had enough clout and reputation to recommend the person. Unfortunately, when they went online to go and check, they couldn't find anything about the person online. So the person lost the opportunity. So should I tell people, invest in yourself, right? Teach people what you know at home, in your office, which is what I mean by at home, and then outside, online. Be intentional about doing that in today's world. That is what it means to be your personal brand, okay? Once you do that, then you can begin to package your knowledge, which is what I did. I wrote a book, Why Your Boss Prefers Your Colleague, and people are buying that book, and I'm making money. Who is using your salary? People are buying that. I don't have to do any extra work. People reach out to me. I go to speak in places. People hear me finish speaking. They want to buy the book. I reach out to people in my contacts, in my network. This is the book. They want to buy the book. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So in today's world, it's easy for you to build that brand and retain your job just by the willingness. This is my own journey. That's my testimony. I literally started teaching my team members, junior team members, how I engage with the bosses, how to reach out to me and tell me if there's something I'm doing they don't like. I started teaching them that, and voila, here we are 5 years later. I'm closing in 7 figures on income because of that. Do you understand? So the intentionality to do that is what will bring you income. But first, I tell people something. If you're starting a side hustle, what like we call it, or a side thing, because you want to fix money problems, a side hustle will amplify your money problems because you go into the mindset of, the next time one is coming in now, how far? I can just do anything I want to do. That's problem. So that's why I talk about fixing your money habits, getting budgeting right, tracking your expenses before you go. Because if you go there to fix money, well, you will just be more annoyed and more frustrated because the money will look like it's more.
That's why you find footballers, boxers, people with a lot of money today still being broke.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
This is huge value. So the first thing you said here is invest in yourself. So what when you say invest in yourself, is it about going to do a training, a certification? Because sometimes, like for you, did you know about this? I don't know how much of investment you would have done in this for yourself. Because I'm imagining some people joining us and saying, okay, I you are a money coach, right? How would you have invested in yourself at the start, especially when you did not know that was going to be like another brand for itself that is created for you?
So I won't say I knew about this personal brand thing like that. I can't
Yeah.
say that I did, but I saw people, right, who were getting speaking engagements. And I would say I can speak on this topic as well, right? But what did it for me beyond the situation I described earlier was I just grew this restlessness, which I would call the Lord restlessness in me, that I felt like there was more to my life. And I fought it because I already had a very busy career as a working mom, a pastor's wife. I wasn't looking for any more new thing to do. So I had that. What I did with it was I started looking for people whose journey resonated with mine intentionally and listening to them. So, who you hang with is very important. If you're going to be able to make the most of your employment experience and unlock additional sources of income, who you listen to and who you hang with is critical. It's literally at the heart of the success of it. And who you hang with for me as a Christian includes my work with God, right at the heart of it. And then those around who mirror what and who I want to be like. So who are you talking to? Is all your gist with your friends loaded with complaints about how crazy the work world is and how you wish you never had to work and how wicked bosses are and how the economy is crazy and how one can never build wealth here? If that's all you're hearing, well, I'm sorry, you are not primed. You're not priming yourself to make money. That's just it. If you truly, really, truly want to make money, then you have to surround yourself with people who are thinking alike and who have that possibility thought process, who are thinking, okay, we can do this thing, who are thinking, how do we grow? How do we help the companies we work with grow? How are we using our time? Because we trade time for money, right? How are we using our time? How many series do we want to watch? Is that all we're talking about? Are we talking about there are communities I tell people that I am in just because I want to be hearing certain amounts of money so I can be knowing that this thing is possible. That's
Possible.
it. I just want to be hearing. I want to be hearing because you see, we are created for influence. It's what makes a child start sitting up and crawling. The fact that they can see that somebody else that looks like them is walking with these two long things on their bottom. They are walking with this. Okay, let me also try to stand. Let me move myself. Let me shuffle along. It is by watching others. So who you are watching, who you are paying attention to, is at the heart of your success, your ability to make more money and make the most of what you earn today.
it's it's clear this last point you made. Those who grew up in homes where their parents are all entrepreneurs find it easier to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
For those who grew up in homes where both parents are working class, working for someone, always find it easier to get into jobs where we want to have a job security
Yeah.
because that's what they have seen. Not a deliberate effort, but it's just that it's unconscious. That's how they walk into it. And when they're now thinking of starting up a business, there's that fear. What if? Then the man who grows up in a place where all are entrepreneurs, they're already thinking of making business and they're not thinking, why will I go and work in someone's organization? So that like you said, it's what you are seeing regularly. And this is where I have captioned this. This is under that investment. How you invest in yourself is about, like you said, it's about the kind of people you're around. So it's not necessarily going for a training. It's not necessarily paying for a certificate course. It's about who you are listening to, where you're spending your time,
Fine.
right?
Yeah.
What are you hearing regularly? What are you seeing regularly? That's what we call investment.
And even as simple as even the people you follow on social media, on
Yeah.
Instagram, on
It's not as simple as it's a critical part, my sister. It is a critical part.
Yeah, yeah, because some people think that, oh, I just want to, that's leisure time, that's rest time. But that leisure time, you're constantly learning. Your brain doesn't know the difference, and
Yeah.
whatever you assimilate at that time matters. Udoka, to the point that you raised, I also believe that even if you didn't grow up in certain area, like for instance, if your parents, both your, take myself for an instance, both my parents were entrepreneurs. They never worked a white collar job.
Yeah.
They both owned their businesses and they did well in those businesses. But I'm working, I've been working for donkey years now, and I'm doing well in it. So sometimes, too, outside of what you see in your immediate environment, you can train yourself by exposing,
Mm,
to that point, exposing yourself to not just the knowledge, but the community of like
yep.
minded people. There are communities that I'm part of that I pay heavily to be part of. I've shared a few with you, Doka. I pay heavily to be part of those communities because I want to be in the circle of people who are thinking will make me know that no matter the accolades I get from other people, I am just starting. It
Mm.
will create a hunger, it will create an insatiable hunger. And it's important it's insatiable, at least for me. And also to balance this, there are people that are not interested in earning more.
Yeah.
There are some people that are just content and they're happy and that's fine. And to Neka's point, plan your money and make your money work for you.
Yeah.
But if you do want more, you need to align more with the people who share that same
Mm-hmm.
desire just
Mhm.
to make it work. Yeah. And I think more than ever, the concept of collaboration is very critical in this because that's how you advance. When you advance in a pack, you grow faster. Like
Yeah.
go alone, there's only so much you can grow because nobody has
Mm.
it. There's always a ceiling for everybody. But when you grow with other people, everybody can pull the other person up, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, solid.
So from
Uchechi, I've just written that's what you said down now. Don't worry, you see it. I will coin it into a post hook. Don't worry.
Nneka, just to put this, so I put up a theorem also that I've written down. It's called the growing restlessness theory,
Mhm.
right? Which you have told us here. I put it as a theory, which I'm going to state that I got from you. That's growing restlessness, right? Where your there's something already within you that is already telling you there is more. There is more. When you say more doesn't necessarily mean money, but more
Mm-mm.
could also mean that there is value you could create.
To create,
You're
yeah.
at this your day job, you're an operation staff, and you're doing it every day, and you start telling yourself there is more to it. I don't know if you watched this movie, the B movie. I watched it long time ago, B movie, and there was this bit that kept on telling myself there is more. I can't just be doing this operations work every day this way. There's more value you can create into your operations job, right? And if you have tried and you find out that there's no value that you can create there, you can be there, enjoy it, but start creating value outside your job so that whenever you come
Yes.
to the job, there is, oh, you enjoy doing your job, but you're already thinking of how this is creating more value for you outside, right?
And yeah, and just to balance what you have also said, Udoka now, I think also it's important that each individual defines the concept of growth for them.
Mm.
Because growth and wanting more may not necessarily mean, like you said, earning more or even
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe the next cadre in your career.
Mm-hmm.
It could be just leveling up, moving to a different position, a different career path, a
Mm-hmm.
different, maybe you move from data analysis and then you transition into cybersecurity at the same level. That might
Mm-hmm.
be what growth means for you. And I think the critical thing, like Nega said, is this journey is different for everyone. It's, you have to personalize,
Mm-hmm.
have to sit down and look at your circumstance, look at what you're interested in, and define what growth is. And that's one of the things that a pro body we try to do to
Yeah.
help organizations create career path for their employees. You especially when you do your talent management classifications and all that, and you have different people for your high post, you want to make it clear. You want to be very clear, like what does career growth mean for you? Does it mean just more money growing vertically, or does it mean growing horizontally? What does it look like for you? What's your interest, and how does it benefit the organization? So just
Mm-hmm.
sitting and crafting that, and just going beyond money. Some people don't want to earn more, but they want to do something different, not because
Mm-hmm.
of the money. And to your point, they want more fulfillment in what they want to do, and that's
Exactly. I think for anyone listening is to understand that one of the things that I am coming into more and more, and I think as parents we need to talk about more to our kids and to younger ones coming up in the workforce, is that you, like I said earlier, you have what it takes to make money. Your value was locked in as you were coming, but
yeah,
also the fact that the answers are usually also on the inside.
yeah,
We all come with our own rhythms.
yeah,
We all come with our own rhythms. And that's why somebody will watch a movie and this will be the person's experience. And another person will watch the same movie and a different experience.
yeah, absolutely.
Two children raised in the same house, unlocking two different things. You
Yeah.
understand? So don't shut down that voice on your inside. Listen to what your heart is yearning for and go in that direction. I tell people that there's nothing you can't use to make money in this life. if he's making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever it's Chairman, I tell people to go and Google, and anyone watching can go and Google. There's a sport, there's a championship for toe wrestling.
So
Yes, big toe. Yes, you can check it out. There's a championship. It's the weirdest thing, but people are making money from it. So my question, I tell people that when I say, for me, it wasn't like I wanted more money. It was, I just knew there was some more to my life at that point in time. Like there was something else I was supposed to be doing. And as I locked into that feeling, that staring, that's, is there anything else I can do? That's why I said shame people have to be happy at work. And now see how it has grown. I'm able to impact more lives across the world. And it's such a fulfillment that no amount of money can do. Yes, I do get paid for coaching. Yes, I do get paid for speaking. But you see, when someone reaches out from someone and said, because of what you said, I got promoted.
So, in summary, we've talked about investing in yourself, right? We've also
Yes.
talked about teaching people what you have learned. Because if you've learned something about value, no matter how small it is, when you start teaching people, you will find value in it, right? And being intentional about it, being intentional about teaching people, being intentional about that knowledge that you have gathered. And lastly, you said package that knowledge. I have seen it in various careers. That simple consistency alone has brought you where you, because I know when you started this, I used to see you when you used to do that your Sunday. Is it Sunday at 4,
Sunday
4 p.m.?
life.
Yes,
Yeah.
at 4 p.m. or something. I can't remember. I think it was Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
Sunday night, yes.
yeah, and Nneka will
Sunday
just
life.
take 1 hour and you see a lot of people. And I'm sure when you were doing it all at the start, it was like, I'm teaching people what I know. But this is basic for me. So everyone has different levels of knowledge. And as you begin to teach that small that you've known, even people that make hair, all of a sudden you start finding that there are people that need this my knowledge. Some people see it as Greek and Hebrew, but I'm able to break it down for them outside my workplace. For some people within the workplace, I'm able to teach them within the workplace. And I'm able to see that one or two colleagues have made significant growth from this value. So if you look at what we have discussed now, we started with income, and somehow we have shifted to value. I've just watched what we started with income, we shifted to value.
Yeah, yeah, and that's correct because you only make money from the value you create. If you're not creating value, you're not making money. So the whole concept of income, the bedrock and the foundation is the value that you're able to give. But I do have one question, Udok. I know we want to wrap up. I do have one question for Neka. So this is great. We want to grow, but I'm just not into maybe putting myself out there. Like in your own case, where you did your live sessions, you do your videos, you do your, and okay, so somebody like me, I think I have a lot of value that I can give, but I'm not really keen on, I'm very lazy about whatever the things that I do. How would you advise people like that to say, how do you sell your value to people that are not in your immediate environment? Because okay, your bosses and people in your immediate environment know the value you're bringing, your friends know the value you bring, but how does the world see that value? Like how do you position yourself? Like if you get what I mean.
I think the first thing is to say that every one of us has a message that the world needs to hear. Whether you're the person that is building an app or working with a telephone company and just doing the software, that's also you doing your own work and adding value to the world. The fact is, what light are you giving us? Because you came with something to give us.
Yeah.
So do you feel, when you look at yourself, do you feel that you're giving us what you should be giving us? Or do you feel that there's more? I think that's the first thing, accepting that, okay. And for me, anyone asking that question, you already know that you are feeling the restlessness and the unease that I'm not giving the
Theory, no,
most I
quote
can.
the theory. Quote the theory. I like how let's start using that, the growing restlessness theorem. I've written it down here. Yeah.
So that's once you feel it, you already know that. Because to be honest, when people say, you're out there, but you guys know me well. I rather be inside my house. My children still say the other day, mommy likes being inside the house. My husband, sometimes, to get me to go out, he can. I'm telling you, this wig and makeup, I wear it like 5 minutes at the time. I would rather be in my house, inside, not just in my house. I rather not go out. So people understand that it's not because I was looking for a way to be out there and make opportunity to talk. No. I got nothing to do with that. I'd rather be inside my house and be quiet and by myself. But when you feel like you have that sense of duty, that there's something that God has put inside of you that the world needs, I think it reframes how you do it. The next thing I would say is test your ideas safely, because sometimes people are afraid. They actually fear of failing, fear of, will anybody listen to me? And to be honest, there are some of those Sunday lives I came on and nobody came on the live. And I still talked to myself for 30 minutes and went off. So sometimes it's fear. I've put out programs that nobody signed up for. I've put out programs that people signed up for and were sold out and will be sold out. Do you get? So that fear of, what would people say that they say? It's what's keeping many of us from doing what we need to do, as well as the trauma. Maybe you were from childhood, people were told you talk too much, you are this, you are that. And so those things keep you away from these are the things that you should be doing. Having said that, all of us may not be speakers, but you can impact your world. You can write guides. There's a guy I follow on LinkedIn, Justin Welsh. I've rarely seen him post about speaking, engagements, or training people. But his following is almost at 1 million, if I'm not mistaken, on LinkedIn, 700K plus. And he has courses. And I've bought his course, and it makes sense. But I've rarely seen on his page post, oh, I was here, I want to speak about this or that. But it's making impact. It's teaching people how to grow on LinkedIn without being in people's faces and doing video and all of that. In fact, if you go through his page, I've rarely seen a full-faced picture. You know the way I do my own, I'm making goofy faces. I've rarely seen any. But he's growing his impact. So look for your tribe. But first of all, I agree that you have that sense of duty to impact your world with your world experience, the greatness that is you. Once we lock that one in and we agree to it, then we can agree about the mode and the medium. I reached out to somebody today and the person said to me, no. I can't do any speaking engagements again for now. Too many. I'm turning them down. I was like, wow. You understand? So it's okay not to, don't follow anybody. As I said, we have our own rhythms. You don't have to follow another person's template. Listen to your own rhythm and go with the flow and know what's enough for you.
Thank you very
I think to add to that also, I have seen sometimes, like we've said before, collaboration. Sometimes you don't want to be out there, but there is someone that you know that knows how to be out there. While you can do the background work. So you know what? Okay, we are. So I'm doing that. I do this with one or two other people who don't want to be out there, and
Oh, yeah.
just because Udoka knows how to reach out to people because I've done sales, I've done marketing. It's for me that's life. But some
Yeah.
people prefer to be at the back. You know what? I'll do the operation. I don't want to speak with anybody. I'll do the so you must learn to collaborate. And in collaborating, do you know what? You could create value for that market. So that marketer, that person that goes out to speak for you, is speaking based on the knowledge you are giving him. He might
Yeah.
not know anything about what to do, but because you are, let me not lie. So let's make it practical here. When we say pro body, Uchechi reaches out and says, you know what? Yes, I've thought about this. I've thought about this. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh yeah, great. I have never done anything in HR. I've never done anything in talent management myself, right? But by the time we start talking, right now I'm out here speaking. A lot of things that I'm speaking about is based on what I've gleaned of her.
Mm.
And because I've gleaned off her, I'm also able to speak with people and learn much more. But guess what? Just because we are saying it now, we now know where the power comes from because she's able to provide information and clarity on the direction. And that's what it is also. So
Mm.
you don't necessarily need to be out there. You can be, even Michael Jackson, a lot of people that sing, the songs were not necessarily written by themselves, right? So it's about that value
Love
you
it.
can create.
I'm writing.
So partnerships don't always work, but because you're not creating value, you know how to carry your value. So we're about rounding up, but the last question I'll ask you just before we go, for someone that earns income, right? Or you even running your own business, right? How can I maximize my income when I'm planning for a future goal? For a
We are planning
long-term goal, I
for.
want to build a house. A long-term goal, I want to build a house in 10 years. I want to build a house.
Oh,
Maybe it's
okay.
a long-term plan,
Mm.
5 years plan.
I love that
How can I
question.
plan for long-term with my streamlined income?
So I wrote the book Who is Using Your Salary, and I said it's a book to help you to build wealth with that your small salary because everybody believes that their salary is small. So let's agree, very small. Well, how do you build wealth? I think the first thing is desire. What do you want to do? Right? What do you want to do? And then sit down and track how you use money. If you track how you use money, then you begin to separate your needs from your wants. The things that you feel like, oh, I must do, that you feel like are compulsory. If I don't do this thing, you will begin to see clearly opportunities. I remember that when we were doing our building project, people then used to tell me that, you don't buy wig, you don't do this. What was in front of me was more important than wig. Do you understand? It was more important than shoe or bag. Do you get? So my priorities were clear. When we finally moved into the house, many of my colleagues were like, how did you guys do this thing? How did you guys do this thing? So it is setting the goal and then reviewing how you're using money to date and looking for the opportunities. The other thing that happened for us, and I'm going to speak as a person of faith, was that we left this goal to God. And then other sources of income began to open up, right, that we hadn't planned for. Okay?
True.
Find It Bible Games opened up. And that became a place, a vehicle through which money was coming to us. But majorly, it was setting the goal first and cutting off fluff in our expenses. You'll be surprised at how much you are wasting on ashrebi, on black tags, on clothes, on shoes, on how many bags. When I'm shopping for shoes, for example, I look for facility. Can it work for church and shoe and office?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So these are things you have to be intentional about if you want to succeed at long-term projects. Understanding that when you do it for now, it will pay you later, right? If you are going to be able to build wealth, you must be a master at the skill called delayed gratification. If you're going to build wealth, there is no escaping it. There's no escaping it. If you are going to build wealth, you have to be a master at that skill of delayed gratification, where you're able to say no to yourself, even for things you can afford. Yes,
Great. Finally,
even for things you can afford.
yep. Finally, there is increasing cost of living everywhere around the world. I've not seen any country that has said that things are getting based on this and the trends you see in 2025. What are your advice? What do you advise people? Everything is getting costlier. We still have the same income today. What's your advice for people this year?
First of all, I would empathize because the people listening will be in different income categories. So some people will be maybe in quotes worse hit than others. That's number one. Number two is the fact that you understand that everybody is hit by it. Everybody is hit by this. Number three is to say that this too will pass, right? And number four is to say there are things you can do without. For me, for example, all through last year, I can count on one hand, if I'm not mistaken, the number of times we went out to go and eat in my house. We were eating great meals at home, but I was very intentional about cutting the going out too much. It's not too much, it's just as often as we used to. I cut out things like shopping for clothes how many times? Most of the clothes I wore last year were clothes I had from even before the lockdown, around the lockdown. I would buy one maybe every 2 months or something, but I cut down on that as well. So sometimes you have to just take these hard bullets. My boss wants to make sacrifices. Well, you've got to choose. My own choice was food quality was not going to drop in my house. Dress, I'm not getting fatter, I'm not getting bigger. I'm not a growing child. But my children are growing. Shoe must be bought. But Neka, how many shoes do you really need? So I had to cut down on certain things. Do you understand? Sorry, I'm men and not could be. So take those kind of decisions, right? And focus on what is important. Children must go to school, children must eat. And I was particular about the quality of food. My daughter came to me one day and said, Mom, I've not eaten prawns since. I said, okay. We went and because I was like, food quality must not drop. But every other thing I could make sacrifices for. Do you understand? So that intentionality is what is required. Sit back and say, where would I put this money to that will bring me more lasting impact in my family that are born? So we ate, we cooked together, we ate together. Those were things that helped us to go through that time. So download your account statement, be intentional, look at how you spend money, and look for opportunities to cut out the fluff. It will pass, and then you then position to increase your income. Because if your mind is locked in how sad you are, how angry you are about life, you can't see. The complaining eyes do not see to create. So stop the complaining, cut out the fluff, and then begin to see opportunities to create and increase your income.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
Neka.
much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate those of you watching. See, we are going to drag her back here. There's another session we're going to have with her called Managing Your Manager. I will surely make sure she's back here. And I would
Nigeria
encourage you
with you.
also look through our other podcasts we've already posted out. Everything we do is on talent management, and I do believe you can look at us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, even on Twitter. We have various podcasts that are out there.
You
Session, you can listen to it over and over again. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Uchechi. Any last words from you?
Thank you so much. It was such a great session. Absolutely enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to the Managing Your Manager episode. So stay tuned.
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.
All
Do
right.
Thank
have
you.
a beautiful day.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.